What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you at. You know what I mean? Thank you for tuning in once again. You know what I mean? Shout out to the notification squad and all that. But yeah, pretty much today we're gonna be working on an emo rap vocal effect. You know, for those who know, it's kind of my favorite style of doing things. You know what I mean? In hip hop, it is so influential now. You know, you listen to Trippie Redd, you listen to Lil Peep, you listen to Juice WRLD, you listen to Lil Uzi Vert. You know, and these are top 10 artists right here. You know, that are heavily inspired by the sound. You know, interestingly enough, looking at Juice WRLD, he can really rap. Like, he's definitely one of the best youngest rappers I've ever heard. You know, checking out his freestyles, but he still chooses to make this type of music. Why? Because it sells, and it's always been commercially viable. It's always been fun to make, you know what I mean, because you definitely step into different territory. There's so many influences that contribute to the sound, you know, and this goes all the way back to, you know, 2000 up to like 2007 or 8, I would say. You know, the emo wave. You know, for those who tuned in, definitely go back and listen to some of that stuff. Just check in on YouTube. You know, there's some really good stuff out there. You know, one of the goats mixing the stuff, you know, kind of the guy behind the scenes was WRLD. Shout out to him. So this is kind of inspired, similar to what he does. You know what I mean? I'm trying to kind of create a SSL console pretty much within FL Studio, you know, but you can apply these techniques within any DAW. But yeah, you know, drop a like and all that, and let's get into it. I'll play what I have, and then we'll share some techniques and all that. Let's get it.
Yeah, first time, last time, I don't know anymore. Real love, fake love, I am never sure. Do you miss me? Why'd you diss me? When we talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am. Are you leaving? Okay. Are you gonna go or stay? Do you even know? At least let me know.
Alright, there you go. I had quite a lot of fun recording this earlier on. But yeah, so pretty much the first thing I want to break down is, you know, if we're going to be doing things like a analog mixing console. For those who don't know what an analog mixing console is, it is just a big desk with a bunch of electronics within it that produces sound, and it sounds heavenly. You know, the more electricity it requires, the juicier it's going to sound. But unfortunately, you know, for those who are in a home studio and all that, you know, we might not have access to all of this gear. So what we want to do is we want to try and emulate it as best as possible, and turn that kind of bland microphone preamp into something more magical than what it is out of the box. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing we want to do is, obviously, if you decide to purchase this template or copy it, you know what I mean, it's all up to you. I don't mind. But yeah, you just want to input your microphone into this channel right here. You always want a microphone input channel so that you can record without any effects. That is very important. If you know, you can always listen with the effects in, you know. So as you can see right here, we've routed to this channel 4, but it is labeled 2 right there. I think I'm just going to stick to this format because it's easy to understand. But we've got channel 1 right there, mic input. 2 is our analog chain, which I'll explain now. 3 is our main vocal, where our main mix is happening. And then 4 is our vocal sum, where we've got all of our vocals that join together, and we can process them as a whole before we actually send it to the master channel. So yeah, the first thing that I like to do pretty much with this technique is, you know, handle your auto tune first. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta have the auto tune if you're gonna be doing this, right? These are the settings. You can copy them. Nothing too special. I think your voice is different. Everyone's voice is different, so you're gonna be applying that auto tune differently. But yeah, this is where things get fun. So the first thing we're using right here is the Tube Desk by Air Windows. Shout out Chris and shout out Martin for introducing these plugins to me. I say that every time I pull the Air Windows up, but there is literally nothing on this plugin. You can't really see it. You know, feel free to go and download this from Air Windows. It is 100% free. You know what I'm saying? Give Chris $1 or $2, man. You know, he makes these awesome emulations of really good stuff, you know, without any of the cool, you know, marketing ploys that people used to try and sell you. You know what I mean? Great software, and this is amazing. And basically what this does is it emulates a tube style recording console. So there we go. You know, we from the jump we kind of emulating that sound. And as you can see right here, I'm using FL Studio 20, so I can actually have this in parallel without getting any weird phasey distortions. That's for another video, but there you go. I'm only using half of it, and really just it does something to the vocal. Next thing I do is kind of just a bit of gain before hitting this vocal rider plugin right here. Let's just get rid of that. You know, and this is really just gonna like brick wall the vocals so that it doesn't get any louder or any softer. Remember, if we're trying to emulate some pop, emo, rock stuff, you know, the vocal sits in one place the whole mix. How do they achieve this? I don't know. Probably lots of compression, but this is kind of copying that. If you just check right here, you'll see it kind of sits at the top.
First time, last time, I don't know anymore. Real love, fake love, I am never sure. Do you miss me? Why'd you diss me? When we talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backward, just to...
And I don't know, that was pretty much the only way that I was able to kind of get that upfront flatline sound, you know what I mean? So you want to get yourself the vocal rider. You could also download a free one. I think there is one by Terry West, you know, something like that. But yeah, the next thing I do right there is just really tone the vocal. I just want to get it ready for the mix, you know what I mean? Get it ready for the big stuff, you know? So all I really want to do is get rid of what I don't like. That'll obviously be dependent on your room. That'll be heavily dependent on what your voice sounds like and the song, the key of your song and all that. I chose to kind of dip some of the lower mids away, some of the bass, my bad, and then just some of the top end, just get rid of that, you know what I mean, before hitting the SSL console, right? So now we're getting into Chris Lord LG's territory. For those who don't know, he's been mixing on solid state Logic his whole life, so you know what I mean. All I'm doing right here is just touching the console. As you can see right there, 4.5, that frequency is known to just give you that poke, and then you know what I mean, just a little bit at 60 just to regain a bit of that lower end. But really why I'm using this plugin is because it is emulating analog, so there is some magic going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But if you want to get more aggressive with it, what you can always do, a little trick, is to let's just say gain it by 5 dB and then drop it by 5 dB on the output. So that means that you drive it on the input and then you reduce the gain, so you don't lose or gain any volume, but you gain saturation or harmonics, you know what I mean? So it's kind of emulating. It's almost like if you drive a car really fast for a long time, it gets really hot, the engine gets really hot, you know what I mean? And then the car might perform better. It's like the tires perform better. That's the way you want to be thinking about it, you know? So yeah, just a bit of tone and color and sound, you know what I mean? If I actually bypass that, you can hear a little bit of a difference.
First time, last time, I don't know anymore. Real love, fake love, I am never sure. Do you miss me? Why'd you diss me? When we
and so yeah, I don't know, I can't really explain. It's a bit of air, it's a bit of something, but it's magic. Let's just call it magic, you know what I mean? Shout out SSL. You know, if I could be mixing on one of these every day, I'll be a happy man. But yeah, the next thing I do right here is just a bit of de-esser, keeping it simple. You know, I'll kind of just play a piece where there is a bit of sibilance, and wherever there's an S sound, this whole thing just kind of pulls that all down. It's kind of an automated compressor.
text on my phone, reading from the past.
Okay, so we had text.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backward, just a pastime. Sober.
So yeah, there you go. If I actually bypass these, let's bypass everything actually, so we can actually hear what is going on exactly. My bad, I forgot to do this. But if we just turn off all of this stuff right here.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backward, just a pastime. So
yeah, just nice and basic, you know what I mean? If I turn that back on.
talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading.
You know what I mean? We've got the whole world going. So if I kind of get back to where I was, these two, you know what I mean, just really just helping shape the tone before we get into, you know, the real sculpting of the vocal. As you can see right here, I'll forever use this EQ now on vocals. I highly recommend copying some T-Rex. You know, I got some other plugins, some utility plugins from them, and then I got this one. I thought, man, this is amazing. You know, this one personally is better than the Waves API. You can use the Waves API as well. It's just got a different style and tone on it. But basically all I'm doing right here is just, you know, shelving away 300 hertz, dipping away 240. You can use any EQ you'd like, you know what I mean? You're still gonna get very similar results. It's just that stylistically you want to be using different EQs for different things to kind of build a soundscape, you know what I mean? So yeah, as you can see, you can kind of see those settings right there. Just boost the top end a little bit. But the next thing I'm doing right here is in the last video, I think I was using the T-Rex 2LA style compressor. Same concept, but just this time, since we're trying to copy CLA, what we're doing is we're using his signature settings on the compressor, which basically is release 7, attack 3. Basically, the numbers here are reversed. So 7 means fastest, 1 means slowest, and as you can see right here, I'm just using that to kind of just hold the vocal back, but at the same time not just drown the vocal, you know what I mean? So I'll just play this and then I'll mess around with this knob and you can see how much the vocal gets affected.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am. Are you leaving? Okay. Are you gonna go or stay?
So yeah, pretty much there are thousands of different 1176 plugins. Just keep that keyword in mind. Leveling amplifier 1176. You can find anyone you like, you know what I mean, and it should give you that same result. I'm kind of pushing for around 5 dB of max gain reduction right there. You know, you can play around with the different ratios. They each have a different sound. If you want to go crazy, you can go for all. Personally, that's not my taste on the song. So yeah, the next thing I do is just a bit of RVox, because why not, you know what I mean? It's just a staple within the music world. You know, it's simple to use. 3 knobs. It's got a noise gate on it, compress, and then output gain. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Really simple, can't really go wrong with that. If I turn off these two, you can hear how weak the vocal becomes. I mean, I don't even really need to play it. You'll just know. Like if I play for
rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am.
So yeah, there you go, just a bit of volume change. So the next thing I do, you can do this with any reverb you'd like. Now this is probably my favorite reverb at the moment. You know, every week the reverbs change, but definitely, man, you know, 42% going crazy with this reverb right here. So I do lose a lot of volume because obviously 42% of the vocal is now drowning in reverb, right? But it just sets the vocal back within the beat. It's just really amazing. If I turn this off right here, if I actually turn off all 3 of the modulation effects, you can hear how dry the vocal becomes.
Rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am.
So yeah, I really want you to concentrate on like the top end of the vocal, almost like the around 7,000, 8,000 hertz. So when I turn these on,
rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober.
it's almost as if it's compressing the top end. It's interesting. It's really interesting stuff, man. I'm still learning as I go along, but it's just things I hear. So yeah, the next thing I do right here is just a bit of chorus. Now you can use any chorus, as I said in the other video as well. Any chorus will work, you know. But you gotta blend it with the different chorus or a flange or something like that. And you really blend these in tiny amounts, and you just get more out of your vocal. As I say, it's kind of compressing it in a beautiful way. Now, if you don't have those, you can definitely use something like the MDA Stereo. Really easy to use. You can download this for free. Just type in MDA VST pack, and you should find that download link, and just hold on to this MDA Stereo. Really good stuff. I mean, even if I pull it in right there,
backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am.
you know what I mean? You could use that on background vocals. You can do really interesting stuff. So yeah, obviously, man, we're talking about the legend right here, WRLD. This time I'm not really using anything else because obviously we've done our own chain. But what I really like about this plugin right here, I highly recommend it. It is on sale sometimes for those who you know, might not be able to buy a whole bunch of plugins. You can just buy this one and you get, you know, a lot of years of experience worth of settings right here. And basically, if I kind of just talk about this one right here, you know, each different band, right, or channel has 3 different settings, you know what I mean? So WRLD picked out these frequencies, and you know, I'm choosing this top frequency just to get a bit more bite per se out of the vocal right there. And then I'm also using the quarter note delay. Now you could just use a fruity delay, as you can see right here. Same thing, you could use the fruity 2, you can use any delay you like. Concept is still the same. It's just a quarter note delay, boom, and it's just giving you that swing with the vocal. So if I turn it up, I'm really using it minimally. I don't want to go crazy, but if I turn it up, you can hear
rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am. Are you leaving?
But yeah, there you go. I'm just using it minimally right there. I don't know, for some reason I think there's a flanger on this specific delay. There's something going on. It sounds beautiful. But yeah, you know, a little bit of toning again, a little bit of toning. And then on the vocal bus, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about one of the coolest parts, right? Is the doubler. So if I kind of just play that, All right, so there you go, man. I've probably never seen a tutorial ever where somebody uses this. One interesting thing I did actually, because you can still see the name here, hardcore chorus, you can actually use this chorus right here, man, and just blend it in, and just make sure you turn off the cabinet, and you can actually use that as an effect. The EQ also sounds amazing. This knob right here sounds amazing on vocals, so you can actually use this on vocals, but stay away from the distortion. It just goes so crazy, as you can see right there. I'm literally blending this in. Let's check 3, 4, 5%, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's literally turning my voice into Jimi Hendrix guitar. Rest in peace, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then all we're doing is a bit of waves doubler. Again, you could use the MDA stereo as a replacement, any sort of free doubler online. There's so many. The next thing I do, reverb, just to create a kind of reverb tone. If I kind of turn off these two. Very two-dimensional. When I turn it on, it just kind of, you know, we get that 3D depth right there, you know, that everyone speaks about. And yeah, all I'm really doing right there is just rolling off stuff. Good to go, good to go, good to go. And yeah, pretty much on the effects, you know, same thing, flanger, Michael Jackson style. You could use Fruity Flanger, stock Pro Tools flanger, whatever, it's all good. A bit of compression. Now this is a famous compressor for parallel compression, NY compression. I definitely recommend starting up on parallel compression. It will give you the advantage of loudness, you know what I mean? Because basically you can send your vocal to this channel and get a duplicate of it, but you just compress it really hard and then blend it in with this vocal right here. So if I pull it up, let us get back to where we were.
Real love, fake love, I am never sure. Do you miss me? Why'd you diss me? When we talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time.
But yeah, really just super aggressive, clipping it, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter because it's so low in the mix. It's just kind of like a border distortion, just sounding amazing. Delay, as you can see right there, on certain parts, I do automate the delay in. So you can kind of see that delay or that automation is controlling this right here. So just kind of follow this channel.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as.
And yeah, that just kind of adds that little, you know, because generally in rock songs, you know, you might have like 3 singers on one song, you know. So if you alone on a track, you know, rap music is a lonely sport. You know, you want to try and add as much as possible, doublers, all sorts of things, minimally, that are going to just add that extra bit of sauce to your vocal. Now, I'm pretty much using an old school reverb right here, the Oxford, man, one of my old studio bosses, man. He used to use this all the time, and it's just inspiring to use this. Pretty much all wet setting, just a nice little reverb room, you know. You can emulate that, nothing too special, but this just has a kind of tone to it that you know, over time you'll start to pick and choose what you like to use. And yeah, psychoacoustic, I'll give you a little secret sauce if you lasted this long in the video, but really I actually have a hardware unit of this, and all I'm really doing is turning up the stereo knob and then using a mid-side EQ. So as you can see right here, my bad, this would be the side, meaning stereo, right? And I'll show you this on the master bus as well. Stereo. And then we've got, man, I keep clicking that. Then we've got the mid and side, right? So mid is mono. So if you can start to understand that we can actually use this mixer matrix, you know, whoever uses this thing. I remember watching a tutorial where someone said I must put this on my bass, and that was a bad idea, but yeah, that was probably like in 2009 or something. But yeah, all I really do is get rid of all of the mono signal and then just leave the stereo and then blend that in with the original song. So it's almost similar NY style compression except with stereo. So if I actually turn it up, you'll hear all the stereo information get much louder. You don't want to do this loud, otherwise it's going to really muddle up your mix.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time.
But yeah, just a little bit of sauce right there just to add on. And then the same concept again, parallel compression, but this time with the whole mix. Shout out Alex Tomei, you know, he's always talking about making use of parallel compression. It's a beautiful thing. If I just play this.
Talking on the phone, are you listening? Text on my phone, reading from the past time. Rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am.
So yeah, really all those are doing are just kind of aggravating the mix in a good way, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the last thing I need to talk about is the master chain, right? So if you've lasted this long, man, shout out to you. Definitely dedicated to this music stuff. So the first thing I like to do, obviously, like I did right over here, is just gain it, right? I don't want to clip into these plugins. Obviously, I'm clipping a tiny little bit, but not too much. If you distort too much into the plugins, you might get a bit of nasty digital distortion, but that only really depends on the plugin. That's a whole different topic and world. You know, you're talking about like bit depths and all these things, and that's a whole lot of science. But basically, concept is I just don't want to, I want to keep everything loud so I can monitor loud before I start mastering, but then I would just want to turn things down with this generic plugin, just so I can hit the plugin chain right, you know what I mean, the mastering chain. And all I'm really doing is just kissing the compressor around this area, just to kind of glue that area, because it can be quite wild around this area, and then just, you know, tame this. So
from the past time, rolling up a backwood, just a pastime. Sober as I am, at least now I know who I am. Are you leaving?
So yeah, you can barely hear the difference, but it is just important just to tame what needs to be tamed. You can pull up a spectrum analyzer, you know what I mean, a little sound graph, and just check out how your audio is moving, and you can decide and listen and all that kind of stuff. Next thing I do is just a little bit of EQ. Obviously, I want to shelf a lot of the bass away because we're going for kind of a rock style mix. If you listen to a lot of punk rock, you can hear that the treble is always, you know, quite upfront within the mix. So I kind of want to get a blend between punk and rap, you know what I mean, just to kind of make sure things work and just get rid of whatever I don't like. Again, keep it simple. Mid-side, again, as you can see right there, I'm just treating the stereo section, so actually now you can understand what I'm doing. So just check this out.
Are you leaving? Okay.
So as you can see right there, all I'm hearing is the mono section, and all I'm hearing on this side is the stereo. So, you know what I mean, you can treat those two separately. Definitely a bit advanced, but you know, you can go do what you gotta do. As you can see, I'm just kind of mastering a little bit again, and you know, using this magical EQ right here. I definitely recommend going and purchasing this. It has an auto EQ function, so you can pretty much allow it to learn your audio and then give you a suggestion of what to fix, you know what I mean. And I'm just doing a minimal little fix to the audio just to glue it together. A little bit of ozone, you know, for those who own ozone elements, similar thing, you know what I mean. I'm just kind of limiting it, turning it down for YouTube, and good to go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I literally work on everything. It's like 5 a.m. in the morning right now, but yeah, man, I love doing these videos. And it is always much appreciated for everyone for tuning in, you know what I mean. Stop at the web store, cop some presets and upgrade your sound and all that stuff. Gang. It is your boy Farai. Hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something, you know what I mean. Feel free to ask anything in the comment section. Say what's up. It's all love. I'll check you out. Peace.